As we wrap up these modules to help you actually get the position that you're looking for, I just want to emphasize a few important things. First of all, with regards to you're looking for employment, as discouraging as it may be, understand that there is a position out there for you, that with your background experience, with your skills, with your passion and enthusiasm, there is someone that can benefit from your experience. With that in mind, I also want you to understand that following the simple processes, the day-to-day routines that I mentioned, creating a resume and a cover letter that you customize for each application, coming prepared to the meetings, doing the interview as was explained, applying the tips such as doing the tour at the end and going to the place where you're going to perhaps meet or work, and actually physically saying that this would be a great place to work with your hand on the chair. All of these things and the other things that were explained in the modules are meant to actually empower you to confidently go about this interviewing process, this job application process with a turnkey experience, something that is a process that's proven time and time again to work to help you get employed. But I do want to end with one bit of advice. There's something that people don't seem to understand that is, I think, critical to your success in finding employment. And it's this rule of thumb that I learned years ago as a recruiter. For every $10,000 of income that you want or are needing to make, it takes that many months to find employment. So let's say, for example, someone is used to making $40,000 a year. That $40,000 position typically on average will take 4 months to find. Now, that's important to understand. It's an average, but it is a true average. And that being the case, you need to be mentally prepared for, if you're looking for a $60,000 position, it may take you as many as 6 months to find that role. There's reasons for this as well. When you first leave a position and now you're on the job hunt, you're going to take perhaps that first week to create your generic resume, your generic cover letter, to begin the process of finding and identifying places to interview, the positions you want to apply for, drafting the cover letter and the resume to submit for consideration, reaching out to the organizations to create relationships with and have profiles and contacts with. Well, it's going to take you a week or 2 or 3 to get that ball rolling. And more importantly, when the interviews come, those generally come a week or 2 after you first submitted for consideration, for them to review your application or your resume to extend to you an interview opportunity. Well, now you've interviewed with them, and it's probably as many as 2-3 weeks into this process. After that, they may want you to come back for a second interview or perhaps even a third interview. Well, each of these take a week or 2 in process. They get to the point where they extend to you an offer. You accept the offer, but now they're expecting you to possibly leave a 2-week notice if necessary, or more importantly, they need to get ready to hire and onboard you. So they're asking for, hey, if you accept the position, we can start you in a week or 2. All that being said, you can easily see how this process of finding employment isn't just, I want to find a job, I'm going to interview this week and next week start a new position. It's going to be 1 or 2 weeks of getting the pump primed and get your resume and everything out there. It's going to take an additional 1 or 2 or 3 weeks to get those first interviews in place. It's going to take possibly another 2 weeks or so for you to get the second interview in place. It's going to take on top of that another week or 2 for them to consider you with the other candidates and extend the position. And then it's going to take another week or 2 or 3 for them to then, after extending the position, have you start. You can easily see how this is not just days or weeks to find a new position. It can honestly be weeks or months. And with that in mind, I want you to set your expectations realistically. You need to be prepared for the long haul to get the right position. Don't sacrifice in weeks for a position that you don't want, that's not ideal, just for the sake of having a job, when you could have held out for a few more weeks and get something more ideal and suitable to your career goals. So understand this, the process works, follow the process, trust the process, work with your coaches if you have access to them through the Employment Assistance Program with Universal Accounting Center, and then lastly, be patient. In this process, one of the things that I can find that's most frustrating is people thought, I would have been employed by now. I didn't realize it was going to take months to find this position. It is the reality. For every $10,000 of earnings you expect to make, expect likewise a month per $10,000. So if it's a $100,000 position that you're accustomed to, realize it may be a year that you're going to be going about this process of finding employment. That reality, that understanding is going to help with your anxieties and frustrations to just understand it is the norm that you're dealing with. Plan accordingly, budget accordingly, and with that in mind, be prepared to get the position you deserve and want by following this process. And with that in mind, understand accounting success is universal. Take care.